Well, it looked like things have changed at the quarterback position for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Mike Tomlin, Omar Khan, Art Rooney, in separate interviews, all came out and said they had confidence in quarterback Kenny Pickett. But Art Rooney used a word that caught a lot of people's attention when he said urgency. You know, he used the word urgency, and urgency is now. And when Russell Wilson was available, the Pittsburgh Steelers brought him in, had a good interview, and they signed Russell Wilson to a 1-year deal because Russell Wilson gives you the opportunity to win right now. So what happens to quarterback Kenny Pickett, man? Man, what before you get into that, you would say, hey, if they had confidence in Kenny Pickett, why would they bring in Russell Wilson? Well, how much confidence did they have in Kenny Pickett? Well, if you just look at the timing of the interviews and, at that time, Russell Wilson still with the Broncos, tampering periods and things like that. So you really can't say we have plans for Russ and things like that. Get yourself in trouble. No Mason, well, he's not under contract, free agent. So Kenny Pickett is your only quarterback you got left on your roster. So, you have to endorse your only quarterback on your roster. I think that's just what they had to do, at that point in time. And, like in life, it's just actions speak louder than words. All three. We have confidence in Kenny. But the option comes, we move away from Kenny just like that. So the actions tell you what you need to know rather than what they say in a press conference. So what now for Kenny Pickett? Man, if you look at it, man, Kenny Pickett, man, I mean, his option, you have to pick up his option after this year. And if you look at it, man, it's like if Russell plays, to the Steelers' liking, forget how the fans say, the Russell, he feels good being in Pittsburgh. Steelers say, hey, he looks like he's rekindling. And they're probably going to sign him again, to maybe a 2-year deal, maybe nothing long because of his age and things like that. And you're worried about the drop off, the real drop off. So they're probably going to sign him again. So how do you pick up Kenny Pickett's option if Russell Wilson plays all 17 games, give you that quarterback play that you desire, and just got the offense in the team looking up in the right direction? People will talk about the Steelers are a dangerous team. The offense, went from being a laughing stock offense to actually putting up points and doing some things. He's going to be back. So now Kenny Pickett, no option pickup. What are you going to do? Kenny Pickett has himself to blame in this situation, man. This is not back in the Bradshaw times when you just give a quarterback year after year and you say, hey, all right, we have faith. Come on. And this is not the Steelers of old. It's just not. This move right here with Russell Wilson just shows you that, because the Steelers of old would probably not make this move. They would probably stick with Kenny Pickett. Ryan Clark himself even thought that the Steelers were going to stick with Kenny Pickett, and he was kind of angry about it and say, hey, that's how the Steelers do it. They draft and develop. Well, they drafted Kenny. 2 years was enough. It looks like, that's what the action is saying. So this is not the Steelers of old. So Kenny Pickett has to see that. He should have seen it with the Chase Claypool and things like that. So it's a new day here, and Kenny put himself in this position with inconsistent quarterback play, so he has himself to blame, and the future is dim in Pittsburgh, man. If you look at it, you never know what's going to happen. You never know what's going to happen. I can't say it's the end of him in Pittsburgh, but it can be. It's looking that way. I think the way he could save face with the Steelers, right the wrong and things like that, and become the guy is if, say, Russell Wilson doesn't play good or he gets injured. And then Kenny Pickett comes riding in white horse. He does the thing and he takes over. And people say, well, maybe he is the guy after all, And he goes, you release Russell or whatever. And then Kenny moves forward as the franchise quarterback like they drafted him to be. That's pretty much the only scenario I can see that Kenny Pickett can resurrect, can come back as QB1 for the Pittsburgh Steelers, is if Russell don't play, inconsistent play or injury. Other than that, man, they brought Russell Wilson in here because of that word that Art Rooney used, urgency, and they need it right now. And Russell can give it to you right now, So Kenny Pickett, man, it's you draft. Some people say it was a reach. Some people say, hey, man, if Kenny Pickett don't go to the Steelers, first overall pick to the Steelers, he probably don't go until the third round. Panic move for the Steelers. They went out, and some people think that drafting again number 20, trying to wait for a quarterback, they think that they'll be doing the same thing that they did when they drafted Kenny Pickett. You'll be drafting another Kenny Pickett. You'll be drafting another Kenny Pickett with the 20th, in picks in the 20s and things like that. In order to get you a top guy, you have to move up and things like that. And I don't think Steelers, what other, quarterback most important need, things like that. But you to move up, you have to give things up. You have to give to get. And the Steelers are just trying to stockpile their roster and not really trying to give too much, trying to acquire things. So you go out and you make the move with Russell Wilson, And then if you look at it again with Kenny Pickett, his future, man, if the Pittsburgh Steelers do draft one of these young quarterbacks, say round 3, there's a quarterback left, say the Jordan Travis guy from Florida State. They said low interest in him. He's coming off injury, so his stock gonna be low. You got Russ, said he should be cleared to play, next month, April. So you just say they go that route. And if they go that route, then the future for Kenny Pickett with the Steelers is pretty much done. If they draft a mid-round, like a third round pick guy, because now you're looking at that guy learning under Russ. Maybe you can say, hey, Kenny, maybe that's the plan for Kenny Pickett to learn under Russ. Who knows? But if the Pittsburgh Steelers draft a young quarterback in this year's draft, then Kenny Pickett's future is pretty much over with the Steelers, because they're going to want to see about that guy. And then if you look at it, Kenny Pickett will be pushing 30, and you really don't know what you got in a guy who's almost 30, coming to league, 24 years old. You're 2 years in, you're 26. Going into your third, you're 27. You're probably not going to play that year. So when you get your shot, 28, 29, 30, you know what I mean? And then it's like 30 for a quarterback is not old. It's not old at all. You got Russell Wilson. He's mid-30s. Kirk Cousins just got paid. He's the same age as Russell Wilson. So you would say 30 is not old for a quarterback, but it's old for a quarterback that has a question mark on him. that has no track record, that hasn't done anything. So who's going to want a quarterback almost 30 would still has the question mark on him? So that's what Kenny Pickett faces, as time goes on, and he hasn't proven himself. It's just making his future, in the league, not just with the Steelers, that much more complicated, man. But I just think that, he put himself in this position, like I said, man, and he has nobody to blame but himself. The Steelers pulled the plug quick with Mitchell Trubisky. Now you can say the Steelers may have did him an injustice with not starting him from the jump, giving him the ball in the beginning. They made him work for it. Maybe that just wasn't right, and especially seeing how Mitchell Trubisky played. So it's like, hey, why didn't you give him the ball first? Why didn't you let him be QB1 like you drafted him to be? So some people could say that, but once you get in the game, you control your own destiny. And it's just the bottom line. The Steelers gave it to him. 3 games in, pulled Mitchell. You're the guy. Let's go. And it didn't translate. So 2 years in, you can't blame the Steelers for making a move, because quarterback is the most important position. So they made that move to get better. And now Kenny Pickett is just going to have to deal with it, man. And if they draft a quarterback, the writing's on the wall. And that just will seal Kenny Pickett's fate in Pittsburgh. So it may not be over. It may be. We'll just have to see. Thanks for watching the video. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. Hit the notification bell to get all the new videos. And until next time, I'm out.